OK, let's get more analysis of this story now. Joining me live from Istanbul is Mahmudur Rahman, who's a former Minister of Energy for Bangladesh. Welcome to you, Mahmudur. As an experienced politician yourself, if I read this correctly when I was reading up on your expertise, you worked in the government back in the 2000s at a time when there was also instability, there was also protests, and there was also a caretaker government. So if I understand it, you've seen all this before. Do you see this as a worrying time for Bangladesh, or is it an opportunity to make things better?
2001 was a different scenario. What we have witnessed in this case is a glorious revolution. I mean, this is one of the most glorious revolutions of the 21st century, led by the young students. And the iconic picture of martyred Abu Sayyid taking bullets with outstretched hand with indomitable courage is going to be an iconic picture for centuries to come. So this is going to be a beginning of a new era in Bangladesh, because it is not only a defeat of a monstrous government, it is also defeat of the hegemony of South Asian big power, India. So I think it is the greatest disaster, geopolitical disaster of India, because you are aware that Sheikh Hasina, the fallen dictator, has taken refuge in Delhi. So it shows the relationship between the fallen dictator and the Delhi. I mean, she ruled Bangladesh for the last 16 years with the blessings of India, and has surrendered the interest and the sovereignty of the country. So I hope this is going to be a new beginning of the country. But make no mistake, Dr. Yunus is the international face of Bangladesh, the Nobel laureate, a very successful and illustrious career he has got. But he is not the hero of the revolution. The hero of the revolution are the students. As I said, that iconic picture of martyred Abu Sayyid embracing Shahada with indomitable courage. So this is going to be maybe a renaissance for any country where autocrats are there. So I am absolutely delighted and elated. I mean, at this age, I consider this as our second independence after 1971. This is our independence from the clutches of Indian hegemony.
Mahmudur, there's still a long way to go. I understand your excitement. Let's talk about Muhammad Yunus, because he's obviously a popular person. But as I understand it, he's predominantly a financial expert. How does that make him the best person to lead an interim government? Or is it purely the fact that people seem to trust him that makes him the right choice?
Three reasons I will say. And first of all, as I have already mentioned to you, that he is the international face of Bangladesh, because he is the only Nobel laureate of the country. And number two, he has an illustrious career, very successful in the Grameen, the small loans for the poor people. So he has a great respect for that. And third, he was also persecuted by this regime. So you combine the three. Okay, he is not a politician. He hasn't got any political experience. But I think at this moment, he has the trust of the people. But having said that, we are waiting for the complete cabinet, because we expect that this evening they are going to take the oath. And the formation of the cabinet is important, because we want to see the other people who are going to be the colleague of Dr. Yunus. So this is important. I am very hopeful, and I expect that all political parties will support Professor Yunus. So the lack of political experience should not be a handicap for him.
Mahmudur, I want to talk about the political parties, because often when an unpopular leader, or what people call a dictator, is removed from a country, turmoil can follow, because there is a power vacuum, and often interested parties all scramble to grab some of that power. Do you think we're not going to see that here? Do you think the military will stand off and allow democracy to unfold, and that the political parties will do the same?
Again, I want to be optimistic because Bangladesh is one of the few democratic countries in the world where we experienced democracy. From 1991 to 2006, there was democratic governance in Bangladesh. And at that time, Bangladesh was known for its democratic governance. And we had the first female, actually the second female prime minister in the Islamic world after late Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan. So the people of Bangladesh are democratic. So this is number one. And number two is I hope the political parties have learned their lesson from the downfall of this dictator, this monstrous dictator. They have learned a lesson. And number three, since the young people, the so-called Generation G, Gen Z generation, they have led the revolution. So this will give great faith to Bangladesh people because, as you know, 40% of the population of Bangladesh belong to this Generation G. So it is not a revolution of old people like us. It is the revolution of the younger generation who are the future of the country. And I don't think military will intervene in going back to democratic governance. And I hope that after the situation is stabilized, things will become better and democracy will return. I mean, you may worry about the present lawlessness for the last couple of days, but it is expected in a revolution. After 16 years of oppression, it is expected. If you compare with the French Revolution, I mean, it's nothing. And also we can compare with the revolution of the 15th July in Turkey, where President Erdogan led that revolution against the attempted coup. So I have a feeling that people will support Professor Yunus in his attempt to return to the democracy. I want to have faith.
There's a huge population in Bangladesh. It'll take a long time, I understand it. It's likely to take a few months to organise official elections there. In that period, do you foresee any teething problems? Because we've already heard reports, for example, traffic police haven't been turning up for work. The students have been filling in to do some jobs themselves. Do you think there will be some infrastructure problems?
I think once the government takes over this evening and Professor Yunus with his cabinet takes the oath, the situation will stabilize. And don't you think it's a great scene that young girls and boys, they're looking after the traffic situation in the country? Think about the enthusiasm. Think about these young children, young kids taking the responsibility of the state. I want to be optimistic at this great moment, and I have great respect for these young people, and I salute their courage. So I want to finish with a hopeful note.
Mahmudur, we are expecting Muhammad Yunus, who is currently at the airport in Dhaka, to speak to the press, to speak to many people who've gathered there, just to hear what he has to say. It's interesting because you said, he's not the hero of this movement. What do you think he's going to say, his first words to the nation's public about this, unexpected situation he finds himself in?
I think two messages he will give to the people, or maybe three. First is, I'm sure he will acknowledge the contribution of the young people, the students, and he will convey his highest regards for them. This is number one. Number two, he will immediately call for the people to obey, law, obey the government, and return to rule of law. This is number two, because it has to be pacified. So his call will be to the people to pacify the situation. Number three, he will probably approach the political parties for their complete support to return to the democracy. And maybe number four, I said three messages. And number four, probably he will also give a message to India that they better not meddle in the internal affair of Bangladesh, because as you know, the fallen dictator is now in India. So that conspiracy might be there. So these are the four messages I expect from Professor Yunus today from my experience.
It's been a remarkable week because Sheikh Hasina was in office for 15 years, seemed to be going nowhere, and then on Monday, suddenly, she's resigned. As you said, she's fled to India. What do you see as being her future? Do you see a way back for her to return to Bangladesh? Is her political career over?
I think her political career is over because one is during the last 16 years, she has killed so many people. I mean, is the most notorious dictator we have ever seen in Bangladesh. Maybe one of the most notorious in the 21st century, because she killed so many people by extrajudicial killing and enforced disappearance. You know, even some of the army generals were abducted and kept in solitary confinement and tortured for the 8 years. Can you imagine? Somebody and their family had no idea whether they are alive or dead, like General Azmi and also another young barrister, Arman. I mean, this sort of torture, this sort of repression is unthinkable, one. And second, by fleeing the country, by taking refuge in India, which is known for its hegemonic, aggression towards Bangladesh, she has, she has abandoned her people. She has abandoned her party. When she has abandoned her people and party, her return to politics is different. Let me compare with another fallen dictator in the 90s. His name was General Ershad, and he was a military dictator. And he was fallen also in a people revolution in 1990, but he never fled the country. He remained in the country and he went to jail. But Sheikh Hasina didn't do that. So for that, cowardice, I think she has proven herself to be a coward and a killer. So I don't see her returning to the political. So probably she will remain in oblivion. And one more thing, she might be tried in international court for crime against humanity, because, as I said, for all the crimes committed by her and her government in extrajudicial killing and enforced disappearance, these are crime against humanity. So, like Netanyahu, like the butcher Netanyahu of Israel, I hope that the ICC will issue an arrest warrant against her and she will be tried there.